it helps if you push the on button. Good morning. It is that time. It is time for Ask Anything. We are winding down on the last few questions from the last time we did submissions. So we have 3 questions left. We're going to do 2 of them today. And the first one is, what is the history of the Tabernacle Church from the very start? Now, I am not the authority on this. So you will see my answer is ask Wayne, because Wayne has been around since the very beginning of the Tabernacle Church. Not really, it's been about 110 years, but Wayne has some lovely stories of early on, and I think Cheryl Hickether does as well. And I know Sharon Fleshman did some research on this a few years ago when we had the 50th anniversary of this building. So there are people who have more information than I do, but here's the quick rundown, okay? Tabernacle Adventist group started meeting in 1915. And in 1917, they started using a building at Southwest 6th and Montgomery Street. Now, that building had been built in 1884 and had been a Presbyterian church up until that point. When the Adventists came in 1917, the Presbyterians stopped using it, and then the Adventist church bought it in 1926. And if you look in our church library, we have a little article that gives some of the history of that building, and there's also a framed program from the time that building was dedicated in 1940. I don't know why we bought the church in 1926 and didn't dedicate it till 1940. That seems like kind of a big gap, but in 1961, that building was demolished, and we had built and moved to this building here on Southwest Condor Way. We have the blueprints in the youth room downstairs if you want to see them, and they are indeed blue. They're from the era when blueprints were actually blue. They were by a famous architect who designed this building. We are on some architectural tours to this day, and I don't know whether it's true or not. But I heard a rumor that that architect was from California, and that is why our gutters can't handle the amount of rain that we sometimes get, because the slope of the roof is such that the downpour can be torrential. So I don't know if that's true or not. In the 1980s, the gymnasium and fellowship hall were added on to the church. Now, not the whole fellowship hall, but if you go downstairs, because you're all staying for potluck, right? When we go downstairs, you'll see the pillars, and from the pillars to the fireplace, that was added. And I'm remembering Matt Birmingham telling me a story of when they had like 400 people attending on a Sabbath, and they were trying to do potluck in what is now basically the kitchen area, and trying to pack everybody into that small space. So it has been about 110 years since Tabernacle as a church family has existed, and it has been about 60 that we have been in this building. So that is the quick history of the Tabernacle Church. Our second and final question for today is, we did a survey a while back, when will we find out the results? And the answer to that is an apology. I'm sorry, I did a bad job with this, guys. We've done 2 of these surveys now. They're called NCD, Natural Church Development. And there's a lot of research and decades of this being used in churches. And what natural church development does is it says there are these quality characteristics. When we look at churches that are thriving and growing, they all share these things in common. Things like passionate spirituality and inspiring worship service. And if you take this test and you see where is your lowest point, what are you the worst at? And if you work on what you're the worst at, everything else will raise as you raise that lowest score. And the idea is if you focus on those things, your church will grow and will thrive all by itself. It's the all by itself approach. So we did that last spring, and we need to do it again. We are planning to do that towards the end of September and do a couple of weekends where we emphasize that and learn a little more about it. And we did the survey last time, but I didn't do a good job of sharing those results with you and of us following up on that and letting you know what that was all about. So we're about to do it again, and we will follow up more this time around, I promise. Those are our 2 Ask Anything questions for the day. We have one more left. I don't know if we'll do it next week or the week after, and then we'll take a little break and start submitting questions again. So start thinking of some good, hard questions that you want answered. Happy Sabbath.